Multimodal discourse analysis is a very recent phenomenon in the field of discourse analysis. It takes us beyond the traditional study of language and combines the study of language with other mediums or modes. For example, images, various figures, gestures, scientific symbolism, action, music, and sound. By combining all these and many other images or paralinguistic features with linguistic features, we try to make meanings out of various discourses. And as I said, it's an emerging paradigm, and there is a lot of theory and practice which is still to be developed in this regard. The field of this multimodal discourse analysis is known differently in different contexts. For example, it is also called multimodality, multimodal analysis, multimodal semiotics, and multimodal studies. In multimodal text, we collectively call our discourses and events as a phenomena, and the medium is the means through which this multimodal phenomena happens or is conveyed. And in such medium, we could see newspapers, then we could see television and computer and other materials or objects. The basic idea in multimodal discourse analysis revolves around image. This image could be a still image or static image, as we see one printed in a newspaper, or it could be a moving image, as we see in various television programs or movies. While analyzing an image, we need to understand various components or parts an image is composed of, and we need to understand them thoroughly. And such an understanding might vary from image to image, because various images are composed of various parts or various elements. In one case, it might be colors which are important in an image, or shapes, and in other cases, it could be the very words or other objects or components an image is composed of. By looking into the composition or the making of various images, we could also identify a grammar of images, and we could formalize the ways various parts of an image are usually composed of, and by formalizing such knowledge, we could also make space or room for analyzing them in future. Images are always interpreted in a context or in various contexts in which they are produced. Usually, an image always leaves something unsaid, and that unsaid is to be understood by the reader or the watcher of that image by reading that or interpreting that image in a certain context. As we see, a lot of things are unsaid in movies we watch, and how we interpret it by looking into the context in which the events are occurring in that movie, or in the context or the topic on which that movie is based. Images do not just say things, rather make people do things. For example, advertisements, they not only promote a certain object or certain item, rather they also convince the watcher or the consumer to buy that product. Similarly, posters and documentaries do influence our political views and want us to change our socio-political ideas. Then elements in an image could have intertextual impact as well, because an image is connected with other images on the same topic. Therefore, certain meanings could be drawn by combining various images on the same topic or in the same field of study. Images and the elements of which they are composed of use and rely on figured words. These figured words are those simplified models or stories that we take for granted in order to understand various things which happen around us. These may be some ideal pictures in our minds which we want to follow. And most of the times we derive meanings by using those pictures because we idealize what should be in the world. Images are always part of discourses, if meaningful and communicative. So they are combined with words, with written or spoken words, and they convey certain socio-cultural meanings. Many images do contain words as well. When images contain words, words in those images can play two roles. In one role, they are elements in a language that can always be interpreted or explained in isolation with images. But sometimes they are part of the image. And in that way, we need to figure out that how it is related to the image and what meanings does it add to the image which is in front of us. We need to see what do the words add to the image or what image adds to the words. And we could also see, rather we should see, that what do they communicate or try to convey to the reader or watcher when they are combined together, both words and images. There are various approaches to multimodal discourse analysis these days, but as I said earlier, it has been a very recent phenomena, and most of it happened in last few decades. And most of the theory and approaches of multimodal analysis has been relying heavily on Halliday's social semiotic approach to language. And there are definitely certain issues with MDA multimodal discourse analysis as well, especially the one and the most important is the modeling of semiotic resources, which are fundamentally different to language. So one may find it very difficult to model those resources in order to figure out proper meanings.